What are women are dealing with in terms of why they aren't going from good to great or from great to extraordinary?
An imposter for sure comes
Right.
up all the time, or the fear of your own success.
And accept the fact that there's going to be failure along the way.
But failure is feedback. You know, we all fall down. It's how quickly do you get up?
Welcome to Limitless. I'm your host, Lisa Allen. If you're ready to build a business, pivot into something new, or take your current venture to the next level in 2025, this show is for you. Today, I'm excited to have Mindee Rosen with me, a transformational life coach and business strategist. Mindee is a certified neuro-linguistic programming master coach, a gold level practitioner ICM, and an ICF MCC certified coach, and a best-selling author. Her passion is empowering women to rewrite their own rules, silence their inner critic, release imposter syndrome, and break through self-doubt to unlock unshakable inspiration and limitless potential. Her proven methodology has helped thousands, and it can help you too. Mindee, thank you so much for coming on today. I am just so excited to have you on. My theme is basically 2025, meeting your goals and just becoming the best person you can be in 2025. So are you as excited as I am?
I am so excited. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to just share a message that perhaps somebody's going to hear it upon review, and this is the message that they need to step in. Yeah. And, I would ask you as we kick this all off, what needs to happen between now and the end of 2025 for anybody tuning in your direct experience to make this the best year of your life?
Yeah. One of the shows I did, one of the statistics is that 92% of adults quit their New Year's resolutions within a couple weeks. And so wherever we can be helpful, that's what I'm really focusing on. So my theme this year, early this year, is what are real solid tips and strategies on how to transform your life. And you happen to be a transformational coach, and you help women with business strategies. There are a lot of my friends who are successful executive women, some women who are still in corporate and they want to grow. Some are women who are leaving corporate and they want to pivot. So I thought you would be a great woman to come on and talk about your work that will maybe help some of these women figure out what are those right steps. How do I make it happen? How do I fulfill the goal by the end of the year? So we're going to start with your background. I want to tell the viewers, just because they don't know much about you, what is your background and how did you get here today?
That's such a great question. My background encompasses, I've touched a few different areas. I spent quite some time in the event space, and I worked with Nabisco and Sports Illustrated and launched 5 major marathons.
Wow.
And then from that place, I knew the next right step, my pivot, was to step into the medical world. And I spent 17 years in medicine in specialty and device sales, which was magnificent. And there was a time and place from that point that, again, life happened for me, not to me, that really defined that next right step. It was just a random day, and I was hit by a car. And through that process, it really allowed me to hear the message, meant for more. And it made me question that if I was to stay in that same place, what would it look like in 5 years? Because the industry had shifted so much. And through that lens, I really saw, the world had shifted and changed. I really saw a need in the marketplace to speak in and empower women, as so many in their direct experiences were going through really challenging times, as was the world.
Right. So you're busy, you're successful, but it sounds like you aren't super happy. Like you were happy, but you probably didn't know that you weren't completely fulfilled or happy until this moment, this life-changing moment happens to you, right? You got hit by a car. And then you start to think, because I feel like so many of us have that moment, that shift, right? So is that kind of what you're saying?
It was really a defining moment that everything that I touched, yes, I had lots of success, yet through that, I really knew that it was time to cultivate and bring together all that I had done so that from that place, I could really speak into the lives of women, utilizing the things that got me through a really difficult, challenging time in my life. That was a defining moment for me to question what's next.
Right. Do you know Ryan Holiday? He wrote the book, Obstacles Are the Way.
Yes.
It's so true. In order to grow and to become better and different in your life, you have to be faced with some kind of, I mean, we can call it adversity, we can call it obstacles, whatever that is. Everybody has that moment in life. And I think they happen throughout your life. Some are bigger shifts than others. So you were successful, you shifted, and that led you to what you're doing now. Talk about what your work right now.
Through my journey, I started and I got my first certification in nutrition. And then from that place, I stepped in and I got my certification in neurolinguistic programming. And from that place, I really felt that it was important that I step in and get certified by through ICF, which is the governing body of coaching. And that way I could take what I had learned and really speak into the lives of women that no matter what area, whether they were transitioning, I've gotten to work with some of the most incredible soulmate clients. And it doesn't matter whether you're looking to transition out of corporate or you are an entrepreneur and you want to go from good to great to extraordinary through different certifications. It really woke me up to step into my true essence. And again, I identified a really strong need in the marketplace of what women needed, because there's a common throughway. And all those patterns, like myself, when I was in corporate, pharma had really shifted and changed. And it was good until it wasn't good. And I started to experience burnout, but that's the same universally. Across the board. You see a lot of the same common threads. And from that place, I stepped in and created my own methodology that really transforms, because it's not surface level. No matter what it is, I'm using somatic, emotional, mental, behavioral, and I think most importantly, unconscious work, because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
But when you have those tools, you're working at all 5 layers, and that's where true transformation transpires. And that's what's enabled me to transform and change thousands of women's lives over the past, I would say, a good solid 3.5 years.
Okay, so what are some of the common threads, though? What are women dealing with in terms of why they aren't going from good to great or from great to extraordinary?
In reflection back to you, I know that for me, although anything I touched, I was very successful at, I knew that there was something that I wasn't seeing. And by tapping into what was unconscious for me, that really tracked back. And for most people, it's not the here and now. It's tracking back between the ages of 0 and 7, and it's unconscious. So for me, it was something, I was a competitive gymnast growing up. And it was just something that stuck with me, and it was unconscious, that really shaped and formulated this compelling desire that there was always more, or what I was doing wasn't enough. And from that place, I see that so often in women. So for me, I see a lot of common themes across the women that I work with, really tuning in and tapping into their inherent worth. Loving themselves.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm not good enough. I need to do more. I'm not smart enough. Those kind of themes is what you're hearing.
It's a very common to see those types of things.
I'm an imposter.
I'm an imposter for sure. It comes
Right.
up all the time. Or the fear of your own success. And really stepping in, and that's what I mean, go from good to great to extraordinary. When you work at those 5 layers, you're really tapping in to see, and that's what enables you to go from good to great to extraordinary.
Wonderful. So walk me through your methodology.
And most commonly, I start with vision work and help you to really tune in to your vision. What does that look like? What, and if there weren't any obstacles in the way, if financial resources weren't in the way of you stepping in to that, what would that look like? And get really clear from that place, and then see what comes up if there's a block or a limiting belief.
Yeah.
And once you clear the block is the way.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that's coming up, and then from that place, really incorporating RPM, rapid planning method, giving you the right tools, and having you be able to have that confidence that all that you did is so transferable to step in to this next chapter.
I love that.
It goes even deeper. It's like peeling the layers back of an onion. It's why do you want it? Because the how will just appear when you have the strategy.
Right. Okay, so let's go back to your methodology, because you were saying there are 5 different levels
Yes.
that you work through. So let's talk about that.
So, for example, somatic work. So there, currently a lot of people are experiencing things in the world, and through somatic work, you can shift any thought, feeling, and emotion in 90 seconds by eyes open or closing your eyes and just pulling in a slow, deep breath into your heart space, allowing the aperture to expand. Sip in a little bit more breath, and on the exhale that slower than on the inhalation. And through that process, it's a great tool to have in your toolbox to be able to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pivot.
And pivot. Well, I would say, how many times have you walked into a meeting and you're like, oh, I got to public speak? Now, some people don't mind public speaking, but having that nervousness of having to address someone, I love the 90-second pivot. Okay, so what's the other levels? You have 4 more levels.
So somatic, emotional. So it's really tuning in on that level. And again, when you tune in from the emotional level, it's really like, what is most present? What is alive for you?
Can you give me an example? I'm trying to envision that.
So with your example, making the pivot from corporate to
It's the next chapter.
to the next chapter.
Got you.
So on the emotional level, what's coming up? Like, is it that you've got this innovation, like that what you've done is not going to be applicable into stepping into that next chapter, that next edge? So you're clearing it on the emotional level. So it's somatic, emotional, mental. So what's coming up? Like, are there any limiting beliefs? Are there is there anything that possibly would hold you back from stepping and owning your greatness?
Yeah.
Stepping in and knowing that you can be limitless.
All right, so many years ago, I have a corporate HR background, and I ended up staying home with my children for a period of time. And there was a moment where I was like, I'm happy being home. I want to raise my children, but there's something not being fulfilled. And I ended up going back and getting certified for life coaching because I felt it's what you were saying. There's this emotional piece that I knew I was happy, but there was something else. Yeah. There was something else I needed to fulfill. And I think there's a fear of taking that next step. But there was a consciousness that started. It's been 15 years since I've evolved from that moment. So it's not a process that happened overnight. Yeah. But I don't know, does that kind of resonate in that?
It surely does. And you know what? It's a constant evolution. It's waking up to truly who you are, to your essence. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your clients and who you serve.
I work with some really, mostly women, extraordinary women that have already had success. And just like myself, that I knew there was more. And I see that so often. And as a lot of, I tend to work with a lot of women in corporate or entrepreneurship. And there's always that next, what's next?
Yeah.
And it's really just tuning in and questioning, and then really waking up with the right tools and the strategies. So I can share two of my favorite clients that I've worked with this past year. One transitioned out of corporate and stepped into, her midlife pivot. Walked away from her seven-figure, 12-year career.
It's bold.
Yeah, it's stepping into the unknown. And she is now traveling around the country, building her team, really being a conscious leader, raising leadership for all those that she comes into contact with. Wow. And then another favorite client that I worked with, and actually just went out to Mexico to facilitate for a half a day with her. She just really, she's been through so much in her life, and she was just ready. Like, she had that defining moment. I've been working with her for 15 months now, and it's just so beautiful to see clients wake up, like come to me, and they're sort of like in a cocoon and don't know what's next, and just blossom into this beautiful butterfly.
Right. Yeah. It's this weird, the soul is a funny thing, because there's this innate thing that we live with that says, you can be perfectly content with where you're at, but there's a point where if you grow to a certain level, your body tells you that there's more, that you want more. Right?
And when that happens, the example that I shared, in that moment, that's such a great way to shift. There's so many different ways to be able to shift and get yourself in an empowering state. That tool that I shared is just a great one, because you can shift anything in 90 seconds.
That's incredible. Successful habits.
Yeah.
Do you have any successful habits that you practice on a daily basis?
I do. And I think the most important one is really just, for me, it's tackling the things. 3 things. First thing in my morning, and I find that works universally for all of the clients that I work with, is just really getting those things off, making it a must. And the other is really, it's consistency. So no matter what you're doing, it's staying consistent with that. And no matter what you're stepping into, it's always an internal game. So whatever that next level, that next edge is, when you are doing the work, and to me, it's a daily evolution.
Okay, I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
When you say consistency, because I agree, if you don't create habits that are, we're creatures of habit by chance, right? So you can have good habits or bad habits, and whatever those habits are is the life you're going to live. So when you're going to want to be derailed. By nature, we get out of bed some days and we're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to write the book. I don't want to, go to the gym. How do you fight against that? How do you stay consistent?
For me, my practice, it's a must that I move my body first thing in the morning, that I do a meditation. Typically, it's a shorter meditation in the morning, but that really tunes me in, allows me to come out of that and set me up for success in my day. And most often, what I'll find is that when people aren't having a process, and it looks different universally, for some it's meditation, for some it's grounding and being outside. But I know for me, doing meditation, it really just sets me up to tackle anything. And let's face it, life happens, but it's always happening for you. But when you have this practice that you are using to set up your day, that truly allows you to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I want to be unstoppable. I want to be unstoppable. I think are you going to say?
What does unstoppable look like to you?
I know, and it's kind of like, is it limitless? Is it unstoppable? I feel as though unstoppable means to me that there's no, and I don't want to say that there's no fear. I think we always have fear, but there's the ability to overcome the apprehension. Maybe that's what it is. The ability to bypass the fear, short circuit that fear, and do things that I connect with, and accept the fact that there's going to be failure along the way.
Oh yeah, but failure is feedback.
Yeah.
And when you learn from, we all fall down. It's how quickly do you get up? How quickly do you rise? And when you have the right tools and you're consistent with them, that when those things happen, you can quickly get up. For example, I had a triggering situation this week, but because I have my own tools and I do the work daily, that trigger was a gift. So again, when we're clearing those misunderstandings, that truly allows you to step in. And no matter what you're doing, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you want to step into.
Right. You have a lot of certifications.
I do.
What is the difference between therapy and coaching?
That is a great question. So with therapy, it's very, a patient will present with a certain condition. So it's working through that. And it's also, when somebody goes for therapy, it's typically some type of trauma. And I am trauma informed. So again, I find that therapy is for those, it's being able to resource somebody to wake up, but around certain methodologies. Coaching is where you really have many modalities that you can weave in, and it's where somebody's not going outside of their window, which is typically referred to as fun.
Coaching, it's really tackling the inner, the outer, and creating accountability so that you can rewrite your script. Right? And I think therapy, sometimes there are deeper circumstances that people need to really work through. So I'm just curious if you kind of felt the same way. But
with therapy, it's definitely needed in the world.
Yeah.
Yet, and it's got its place. And I oftentimes, if somebody will come to me and they've had in their experience that I still feel that they need, I will have them work with a therapist to work on those issues, and I'll work with them on moving them forward.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one of the best outcomes that when women work with you with their business, like what is one of your best outcomes from that?
There's so many. Seeing somebody just step in to like their dreams and their desires, and it's so available for all of us. And it's truly distrusting the process. So, seeing clients, whether it's that they want to go and they want to, build their department and expand and bring in that next level for them, that's been extraordinary to witness. It's been extraordinary to help women have the right tools to be able to have the courage without the fear.
Right.
To take that jump, to pivot.
And it's really the inner work that is helping them overcome.
Yeah. The inner work, no matter, I strongly feel that it's not, I feel that business is a spiritual game, and that when we're doing the inner work, that is truly the way. That's the path.
Got it.
To stepping in. And you said you want to be unstoppable. That's the trajectory.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything that you would want someone to walk away with today, what is that one thing?
To really step into that next edge, to put something on your, at least one thing on your calendar every single month, to step into uncertainty. And just knowing that if fear comes up for you, that's natural. And it's really false evidence of being real. And then when you take that leap, when you take that step, it's not scary.
Actually, it's scary until you accomplish, and then you're like, I can do it. Like, so I went to the Tony Robbins event, and we walked over hot coals. The entire day, I almost didn't listen to a thing he said because all I was consumed with is walking over those hot coals. And I thought, I'm going to burn my feet. I don't, and then when I did it, I just felt unstoppable. In that moment, I was like, if I can walk on hot coals, I can almost do anything in life. Yeah. And so I guess...
and you can use that as an anchor.
Yeah.
So that if you are stepping into something that's fearful, remember that moment when you I've walked across fire in the Tony world 14 times.
Wow.
And each time has been, because I've been at a different point in my life.
Yeah.
So the very first time that I walked on fire and I crossed it and got to the other end, I remember feeling that very same way. But now it's just brought on a different meaning. Yeah. So every time I do it, it just empowers me to really bring on another level of what does unstoppable, what does limitless look like.
What does it look like for you this year?
For me, I'm just so excited to bring to life some of the exciting things that I've been currently in process. So I am launching a spectacular mastermind that will launch later this year. I'm going to create a YouTube channel so that I can provide tools and be of service to those that want to tune in and just have information readily available.
So I want to make sure that people know where to find you if they're interested. Where can they find you?
Across any platform on social media, you can find me at Mindee Rosen. And I'm also going to provide you with a tool that your audience can tune in and call in abundance.
Okay.
Really anchor in your vision. What does an extraordinary life look like? I'm going to provide a meditation, short meditation, 15-minute meditation.
Perfect. So we'll attach it when we put out the video. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Final question. Word of the year. What is the theme of your year?
I have 2 words.
Okay.
One is trust.
Oh, I love that.
And when you live your life through the lens of trust, it's been an anchor. It was also my word last year. And I'm so grateful. I've lived an extraordinary life, but through that utilization of that word, last year truly was that year in my life that really shifted and was the best year of my life. And that's my mission. Yeah. And when we surrender, that's how we truly call in all infinite possibilities. So those are my 2 words of the year that will be my North Star.
I love it. Mine is gratitude this year. So last year it was courage, this year it's gratitude, and gratitude in the sense of being able to lift people up, share other people's talent, because I enjoy doing the interviews. I enjoy doing being able to research people and understand what makes them special and unique and what gifts they give out to the world. And being able to highlight that is I'm in gratitude of that. Yeah,
and just to reflect back to you, you just have such a beautiful essence to you in really just drilling down. And I so look forward to seeing you spread your magic.
Thank you.
This year in 2025.
Go 2025.
Go 2025.
We're gonna accomplish those New Year's goals.
Yes.
I know we will. So thank you so much for coming on today. I'll check in mid-year with you to see how everything's going.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
It's been my honor.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for joining us today. Make 2025 your growth year. Don't be afraid to step into uncertainty, to become happier, fulfilled, and of course, limitless. For more programming like this, please visit HTTV's website or any of our social media channels. Thank you for watching Limitless. I'm Lisa Allen, and we will see you on the next episode.